Okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to make up something. What do you want to say this x-intercept is? We're just going to make it up. Give me a number. Obviously negative. -5. Okay. Give me a made-up value over here. Eight. Give me a made-up value for the y-intercept. 6. Okay. So okay, so here's what you told me. So the question would say, here's the x-intercepts, here's a y-intercept. And what we're going to do is, my question at the very end is going to be, what's the max height? Every time.
Every time. Exactly.
Okay, I'm going to have to make an equation. Guess which one on the formula sheet I'm going to pick. I'm going to pick that one. Why am I picking that one? Because I was given x-intercepts, which are the factor business, right? Factoring gets me x-intercepts. So these would be what factors look like, right? Does that make sense? That's a factor that gives me an x-intercept of -5 and +8. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. So I plugged in my x-intercepts already. Then what do you do with the y-intercept? Okay, you can't do anything unless you have a point. Yeah. This is an S. On your formula sheet, it uses an S, and I hate that. I wish they would pick a different letter because it looks like a 5. I should just revamp all my papers to say Q or something different. Okay. I can't do anything with just the y-intercept of 6. I have to name it as a coordinate. So what would it be? Dun, 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 dun. What do you think? There's a 6 in there, obviously. Where would you put the 6th part? The first part or the second part? You always need an x comma y. Is the x 6 or the y 6? The y is 6. What is the x value? 0, right? Right here. Here I am. What's the x value? 0. Okay, so I'm now going to replace x's with zeros. I'm going to replace x with a 0. I'm going to be replacing the y with a 6. See what I did there? so everything I was doing there was just algebra stuff. Would that be okay, following those steps on your own? Okay, so what is the equation you can now put into your calculator? Y equals, so now we have this negative 0.15 so we redo the equation, but when we do it, you know how I replaced all these highlighted things? Now I leave them open. Whatever I replaced here with the point, I now leave them open so that we can make a bunch of other points. Does that make sense? Because your equation will have a bunch of points. So you have to have them open. Okay, give me that. We're ready to go to our calculator. Y equals, okay, so your calculator, mine looks like that. So my final question was, what's the max height? So get me that answer. Okay, so matching the number, 6.34. And on your test, I'm going to also be looking for, are you understanding the variables? So this is a height, so there'll probably be something attached to it, like meters or feet or whatever, right? So make sure you put that on there. Okay, and the other question that I want to go through is the donut question. We're going to do a donut because guess what? I have a donut actually sitting here. Don't mind that there was a bite missing. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to measure how much donut is here. 8. Yeah, 8 centimeters. My donut is 8 centimeters. Okay, I would like my jam center and my dough outside to have the same amount of area to them. I want the area of the outside, I don't know, you know what I mean, on the outside of the donut? Right, the dough part versus the area of the center part, right? I want them to have the same amount of area. Okay, what do you know about the area of a circle? I might not give this to you on the test. How do you do the area of any circle? Pi r squared. Pi r squared. Okay. So, here's what I know. I know the radius of the whole thing is 4, right? Because this was 8. Everybody knows how to do diameter, radius. Okay, we're going to call this radius, we're going to call it x because I don't know it. This chunk isn't a radius. That's not from the center to an outside of a circle, right? That's not a radius, so I'm just going to leave it. Okay, so let's do the area of the inside. That's easy. Pi x squared. Boom, done. how do I figure out the area of the perimeter part? What do? You do the whole thing, and then you subtract the centered, right? Would that make sense? Okay, so the whole thing is pi times 4 squared. Pi times 4 squared is the whole donut minus pi x squared. Okay, so this is applied. So at this point, we aren't going to do the algebra work. We could, but that's pre-calcy. We're going to go to our calculator. So what do you do in your calculator? y1, y2, where does this equal this? That's going to give me my answer. So go into your calculator now. Remember where your pi button is. I made my window bigger than 10 at the top, higher. So this is what I'm seeing. But because I made my window a little bit taller at the top, Y max. I don't know. It looks like you're going to need to be, this is like 50-ish. You might have to be over 50 at the top just to see it. That's good. Everybody's kind of got a visual. Okay. So on my calculator, I'm going to find the intersection. This answer is not allowed because x is what? A radius. This answer is negative. Can I have a negative radius on my circle? No. So I only want this answer. So what does that mean? It means that's the radius. What if I ask you how wide is the jam? You would have to do what? You'd have to double that, right? Because that's just the radius. And then maybe I'd ask you about this, like what's the width of the dough? What would you do to get this width of the dough? What do you think you would do? Because I know that that is 4 across, right? So I could subtract them. Okay, and then remember what we did? We did this all in centimeters too, so make sure you're including that kind of stuff on your answers as well. Okay, how does that seem for 2 today?